Okay, good. Seder. So we're up to a new siman, Lamed Dalet. Very interesting siman. This is all about the Tefillin of Rabbeinu Tam, right? The minhag that some people wear Rabbeinu Tam Tefillin. Says the Machaber, Lamed Dalet. Seder hanochas haparshas betfillin v'mahadrin asher lohem beis zugas tefillin. Those people who are mahadr to have two tefillin. Says the Machaber, Aleph. Seder hanochosin babatim. The order of putting the klaf, the parshas, in the batim, l'Rashi v'harambam. The order is you put them in kadesh mismol. So we're going to show you. Here's tefillin shel rosh, right? When you're wearing them, kadesh goes on the left. That's their four boxes. Kadesh goes in the left. Then haminiach b'bayis hachitz, and you put it on the outer one. V'acharov, and then after them, adivicha b'bayis sheni, i.e. v'hoya ki avicha is in the second compartment. Ushma b'bayis shlishi, shema is in the third compartment. V'hoyim shemoy b'bayis harvi. That's how Rashi does it. Kadesh, v'hoya ki avicha, shema, and v'hoya im shemoya. Those are the four parshas. Asher b'bayis hachitz and liyamini, so that's v'hoyim shemoy is in the outer one on the right. Well, the Rabbeinu Tam, however, according to Rabbeinu Tam, the whole machlokas is only where you put the third and the fourth parsha. The Rabbeinu Tam, hashlishi v'hoyim shemoya, the third parsha is v'hoyim shemoya, v'bayis harvi shehu hachitzon, and the outer one you put the shema. Minhag ha'olam karashi v'harambam. The minhag ha'olam is to do like Rashi and the Rambam, and therefore we have kadesh v'hoya ki avicha, and then shema, and then v'hoyim shemoya. Good. Okay. So let's take a look at Mishnah Berurah, the bottom there, Sifkat Aleph. Seder hanachosim da. To lekula alma, everyone agrees im hichlif eza parsha. If you switch one of the parshas, shenosna shelo bebeis am yuchad, you don't put the right parsha in the right box in the right compartment, psulin. After yesh dal parshas bedal batim, even though you've got four parshas and four batim, if you put them in the wrong order, it's ma'akev, it's no good. V'chol shekain, and so how much more so, im nosen shtei parshas bebayis echad. If you put two parshas in one compartment, then that for sure is no good. Haminiach, one who puts them in, afilu memeniach hu ita. Even if the person is a lefty, imagine as a person is left-handed, bossi in a small da alma. So it doesn't make a difference, even though you're putting on the Tefillin shel rosh, and you might think, hey, I'm left-handed, maybe you should reverse the order somehow. It's exactly the same order. Rabbeinu Tam. Kosu ha-poskim sivkotim gimel. To gam Rabbeinu Tam moida, interestingly, even though Rabbeinu Tam would agree, to bo'in ksivosim kaseda, the order of writing the parshas has got to be in the correct order, sheim kusuvin b'Torah, in the order that they're written in the Torah. Shehu kadesh v'kivecha shema v'hoyim shemoya. I know what you're thinking, Chaim. And it's a palig Rashi, but they only argue with Rashi, l'inyan hanachosim v'batim. The whole machlokas is the placement of the parshas in the tefillin. Therefore, if you're a sefer and you're writing Rabbeinu Tam tefillin, yichtov b'shel yad shehem beklaf echod. On the shel yad, you write them on one klaf. You write kadesh v'yikivyecha v'yaniach cholok v'hoyim shemoya, and then you leave a blank for v'hoyim shemoya, v'yichtov shema, because shema comes first in the Torah, and you put it fourth in that fourth column, v'achach yichtov v'hoyim shemoya, and then you come back to it. So imagine, he's got a picture of it in the book. Yeah. So you have the way you do it according to Rabbeinu Tam. Interestingly, you write kadesh, then you write v'yikivyecha, you leave that blank, and then you write shema, and then you come back and you write v'hoyim shemoya, because you've got to write it in the order of which is written, that appears in the Sefer Torah. Good. Of a shel rosh, and with regard to the shel rosh, well, that's easier. Yichtavein ba'arbe klafim kaseidim mamish. You write them in the order. The first klaf for the shel rosh, you write kadesh, then v'yikivyecha, then shema, then v'hoyim shemoya. V'yisajim bebatim, and then when you finish the klafim, you put them in the batim kadesh v'hoyim shema, and in that order. According to Rabbeinu Tam, well, le'inyan dinei pesuches ustumas, regarding pesuches ustumas, v'tilen eich l'sayik b'daited kva bi'anu le'el beis Hashem b'simen lam beis ein shom. So that we already discussed it in simen lam beis. Karashi v'Rambam, and the minhag ha'olam is to go like Rashi in the Rambam. V'kotza Beis Yosef v'shachrenim zechein ikka. That is the main opinion that we follow. V'chein hiskim hagro b'beit Orach. Good. Ad kan halach aleph. Sif Beis. Yirei Shemayim. Interesting. Yirei Shemayim yetze yedei shneihem. Yirei Shemayim should do both. V'yaseh shtei zugos tefillin, and he should put on 2 pairs of tefillin. V'yaniach shneihem, and you put them on at the same time, right? So I don't know if you've seen this. Yeah, and you sometimes go to Hagos, you see it. Sfaradim sometimes see it, and sometimes Chassidim sometimes see it. You put them on at the same time. That means 2 pairs of tefillin, 2 on the shel rosh and 2 on the shel yad. V'yechavim b'hanachosom, and before you put them on, you should have the following kavanah. Whichever is the right one according to halacha, whether it's Rashi or whether it's Rabbeinu Tam, I'm fulfilling my obligation of tefillin. And the other one is just like ritzuas, like plain leather straps. Because there is enough room on the head to put on 2 tefillin, both on the shel yad and the shel rosh. Let's do the Mishnah Berurah till that. Base v'yaniach. V'hanoye kein laniach shnei sugas tefillin. Someone who has the minhag to put on 2 pairs of tefillin. Yaniach shel Rashi lematzah letzad hapnim. So l'maisa, how do you do it? So the answer is you put on the Rashi. Sorry, this is going on the shel rosh. You put the Rashi on first, and then the Rabbeinu Tam goes lower. So here you've got a picture here. Sorry, I said it the wrong way around just now. Here's the picture. I don't know if you can see it. Rashi goes lower down on the face, and the Rabbeinu Tam goes higher up on the top. So Rashi lower down and Rabbeinu Tam higher up. Says the Mishnah Berurah, the Rashi ones go lower down, letzat upon him towards the face. Rabbeinu Tam lemal, and Rabbeinu Tam goes higher up. V'chein kosva rizal. Sheyachnis tchila shel Rashi. First of all, you put on the shel Rashi. V'yamidim letzat hakosef, and so too the tefillin shel yad. You put the shel Rashi ones on further up. Letzad hakosef means towards the shoulder. V'achareihem shel Rabbeinu Tam and letzad yad. And then you put the Rabbeinu Tam ones towards the hand, lower down. V'shneihem al hakiberes. Both of them have got to be on the kiberes, on the bicep, on the muscle. V'yaniach b'rosh shel Rashi lemato. And the shel rosh, you put the Rashi one lower down. V'shel Rabbeinu Tam yosel lemal, you put that higher up. V'shneim b'makom harei l'tefillin. Both of them have got to be on the right place for the tefillin. Now, interestingly, v'haretzuas Rabbeinu Tam yemechusa tachas retzuas to Rashi. The Rabbeinu Tam retzuas. Remember, you're wearing 2 pairs of tefillin. So on the tefillin shel yad, how are you going to do the retzuas? So the tefillin, the retzuas of the Rabbeinu Tam, you should put them underneath the ones of Rashi. What about chatzitza? So if you look in footnote 7, he says ein bozeh mishum chatzitza. Like the Ramah says previously in Simon Chav Zayin, she'ein lahak b'dal chatzitza ele b'tefillin atzmon. The chatzitza is only a problem for the tefillin themselves and not the retzuas. Avlo b'retzuas. V'af b'mokem ha'tefillin atzmon kosav le'el sha'retzua ein ha'chaytzetz mishum shemin b'mina ein ha'chaytzetz. Ele she'siyim sham b'chei agav nenochen l'chatchil l'hachim b'zeh. Fine. So therefore you put the retzuas of the Rabbeinu Tam underneath the Rabbeinu, the Rashi ones. So the only things that you see are the Rashi Ritzuas. Well, Tefillin Rabbeinu Tam, you katanim Tefillin the Rashi. The Rabbeinu Tam Tefillin, interestingly, should be smaller than that of the Rashi Tefillin. In footnote 8, he explains, because it's a heka. Shemaniach Tefillin shel Rabbeinu Tam yachad and Tefillin shel Rashi yesh lakdin, and you should make them a bit smaller. K'shir sheyunchu b'teich hamokam ha'kosher lahanocha. To make a bit of a hecker that the tefillin shel Rashi are different and they're bigger. I'm Besef HaKavonos. Okay, tefillin Perek Yud and Yud Beis. Misha meniach tefillin. Carrying on the Mishnah Berurah. Misha meniach tefillin shel yad shel das Rabbeinu Tam. Tefillin shel rosh kadas Rashi. You've got an interesting mixture. You've got the tefillin shel yad of Rabbeinu Tam and the tefillin shel rosh of Rashi. V'harambam. Im yoytze chivosei, what are you yoytze? Pasak shvus Yaakov, chelik aleph siman beis. The ena yoytze alibet kol alma, because you can't mix and match. They're mutually exclusive. Avo b'shas hatchak mutal anichem kach, but b'shas hatchak you can put them on. To b'shas hatchak yesem yonech leachad levad. If you only got one tefillin, you only got shel yad. They're 2 separate mitzvahs, shel yad and shel rosh. So you put the shel yad on, you put just the shel rosh on, whatever, if that's the shas hatchak. However, you only make a bracha on the tefillin, which is Shel Rashi in the Rambam. Ve'im Shel Rosh nichtav al pidas Rashi. Interesting. If you've got a Shel Rosh, which is written al libed Rashi, yesh lo niach Shel Rosh tchila. You should put that on first, and then you put the Shel Yad on. So you do the other way around, because the Ikka is like Rashi. And then you take off the Shel Yad first. Ein Shom. Okay. Shnehem. What is this going on? V'yaniach Shnehem. Yachad al Yad. So first you put the Rashi Shel Yad on, and then the Rabbeinu Tam Shel Yad. V'yavorech. You make the bracha. V'yahad came, and then you secure them. B'bas achas. V'wadin Shel Rosh, and then you put the Shel Rosh on, like we said. Kadesh yitianach Hashem somach labracha. That you've got the bracha on the Shel Yad, and then you got the bracha on the Shel Rosh. Ba'osim shehem ali b'dehilchasa. The lo yuchol lechavim b'shteihem ba'es ha'hiduk shemahadkan yachad l'shem tefillin, because you can't have the kavana, you can't put the Rashi one on first and then the Rabbeinu Tam on first, because that's going to be a hefsek. The tefillin, because one of them is not tefillin. V'yeshayim moed, and others say a further reason. The yesh b'zimishim bal tosif. There's a problem of bal tosif. I'll call upon him the midrabon, at least the midrabanon. Okay, ba'alma. So then, and you put the ritzuas. V'hashayu, you put on the two tefillin. You make the t'nai that you're doing this, whichever one is the correct according to halacha. That should be your chiyuv, your yotzi your chiyuv, and the other should be ritzuas ba'alma. It says in Mishnah Berurah, Shahar mimanushach echad me'impossible, because mimanushach one of them is possible v'chanal b'sif kot nalef. Like we said previously, v'dafka b'zeh eino b'bal tosif. Now there's no problem with bal tosif. When you see a guy with two tefillin, one is Shel Rashi and one is Shel Rabbeinu Tam, it's not a problem with bal tosif. Why not? Sheyesh b'zeh shtayim mal yusa. Because there's two reasons why there's no problem with bal tosif here. Echad, she'echad me'im apostle. It's like going around with a lulav, which is with a proper lulav, and one which is a kiddie lulav. That's not a problem with bal tosif. And base, another issue is shekol echad omed b'fnei atzmei. They're separate things. But if you were to put 5 parashas in one tefillin, or something like that, that's bal tosif. There's 2 separate entities here, so there's no problem with bal tosif. If you were to put 2 kosher sets of tefillin on, like I just said, then whether it was nishla that, or you added one, you added another one, then you would be over bal tosif.
Does that mean that we're assuming that one of them is definitely possible then?
Yes. So they're mutually exclusive. Either Rashi is right or Rabbeinu Tam is right. They cannot both be right.
Quite scary.
Yeah. And that's why I will come to Mr. Shem, not today, but there is an Inyan to at least once a year or once in your life or something to wear Rabbeinu Tam, just in case. I've done it once. I've got years ago in school, there was a Chabad boy. What? We'll see it, because we'll see only a Yirei Shemayim. That's in tomorrow, Mr. Shem. Only Yirei Shemayim, etc. When Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky became the Rosh Yeshiva Torah V'das, Shraga Feivel appointed him as Rosh Yeshiva Torah V'das, and he said to him, maybe it's appropriate that Tzaddik Yirei Shemayim should wear Rabbeinu Tam. So he joked, the Chovetz Chaim, when he was 90, he started wearing. Now, many decades later, when suddenly he was 90 years old, and Rabbi Yaakov started putting on Rabbeinu Tam tefillin. And no one knew why now. So he said, because I promised for Shraga Feivel. He goes, when I'm 90. Yeah. Okay. According to the Gra, if you add a 5th parsha, even though it's not mechuba legamre, imar bepatim, rak b'shir bam is just tied, afilu hochi pasel la tefillin al yedei meila oval bal tosif. That passes the tefillin, therefore there's a problem with bal tosif. Okay, so there's no problem with bal tosif by wearing 2 tefillin together. That's not bal tosif, either because they're both, one is posel, one's kosher, or because bal tosif would be when you add 5 parshas to the tefillin, not when you've got 2 separate tefillin. Okay, let's carry on the mechaber. Top line. If you can't work out exactly the right place to put 2 at one time, you put on the one first, the Shel Rashi you put on first. We take out the brackets here. And then later, without making a bracha, you put on the Rabbeinu Tam. Okay, let's just do the Mishnah Berurah on that till there. Yud, Shneim Yachad Tes. Sivkot and Tes, Pirush. Kashiyahadik Shneim Bebasachas, when you do them together, Lo Yuchel Lechavan HaMokom Sheyeh Kol Echad Munach Al Mokom HaKadin. You can't, for example, put two in one place. Al Kein Tzorech Lekoshem Al Kol Ponim Tek of Zeh Achaz Zeh Bli Hefsek. You put them on one after the other without a gap, without an interruption. V'yeh Moel HaBrocha Sheberich Mitchila Gam Al Tfinish Hashnim, and the bracha you made on the first set will count for the second. V'zeh Mashakos V'Mechab B'Samach. That's what the Mechaber says further on. V'yaniach Acher Mal Smach. Dahainu Sheneach Hazug Hasheni Etzel Hazug Arishan V'Chanal Ach Shelo Banoch Ach, but not at the same time. Yud Yaniach B'Divrei Echad Shel Yad V'Shel Rosh V'yaniach Acher Mal Smach Bracha Rishena V'Im Lo Yochel Kach Tzorech Lema V'Lo Garsin V'Yisalkim Yal. We're not gores, the brackets where you take them off straight away. K'Divrei Ha'echad, like we said, Yaniach K'Divrei Echad. So you make the bracha, you put on the shel Rashi first, and then later the Rabbeinu Tam. V'shel Yad v'shel Rosh la mechaber b'bracha achas. Because remember, according to the Mechaber, you only make one bracha on Tefillin. We are noig to make two brachas Ashkenaz, but the Mechaber only does one. Well, if you mean again or b'shtei brachas, but according to us Ashkenaz, then you make two brachas. V'chanal b'simen chafei. V'achakach yanich etzel zug shni, and then you put the second pair on. V'afal pishe mafsik beineihem, even though you're being mafsik, ba'anocha shel Rosh shel zug harishan, because you're putting on the shel Yad of Rashi, the shel Rosh of Rashi, and then the shel Yad of the Rabbeinu Tam. So you're being mafsik for the Rabbeinu Tam, the bracha of the shel Yad of Rashi is going on the shel Yad of Rabbeinu Tam, and you're being mafsik. However, v'gam ba'bracha shemevarech aleh lefim enogenu, afilu hochisha pedami, that's better. Ta'ashnei brachas al travako, because the two brachas are going on both. Avelo yochel aniach mitchila shtayim shel Yad mishtei azugos v'chach sham. You can't put the two pairs, the shel Yad, you can't put the shel Yad, and the shel Rosh. What's the alternative? To put the shel Yad of Rashi, the shel Yad of Rabbeinu Tam, and then the shel Rosh of Rashi, then it's for sure being mafsik between the shel Yad and the shel Rosh. So you can't do that way around. Okay, now I'll just finish off the Mechaber. If you can't do them together, yaniach shel Rashi v'yivarech aleihem. You put on the shel Rashi tefillin, you make a bracha. The you alav b'shas kriyishma tefillin, then you daven with them. Va'acha tefillin, and at the end of shacharis, yaniach shel Rabbeinu Tam beloy bracha v'yikra b'hem shema v'hem shua. And then you put the Rabbeinu Tam on, and you say shema v'hem shua. Let's finish off the Mishnah Berurah. Yud Gimel lo yuchel pirush afilu b'zeh chazeh lo yuchel aniach b'asachas kagoin. For example, you've got an injury on your arm and you can't put both on at the same time. You're embarrassed to go to shul to wear two tefillin at one time. Then what should you do? Yaniach shel Rashi, you put on the shel Rashi, v'yivarech aleihem, v'chula, the heim ikka, the dinner, because that is the ikka according to halacha. V'shel Rabbeinu Tam yaniach achat tefillin. You put on the Rabbeinu Tam after davening, kadei lot says divrei hakol, to be yotze everyone. Like we said before, you're doing it mishum sofek and you make a t'nai, whichever one is the correct one according to halacha, you should be yotzi yochiv with that. Now interesting, when do you put on the Rabbeinu Tam? Acha hatfila. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Hainu kedina mavule al b'simin chafei sif yud gimel. We said previously, the v'loy ke'elu hacholz tefillin de Rashi, not like those who take off their Rashi tefillin umanichin the Rabbeinu Tam tekev lach kadush shemin esra during chazor sashatz. Shouldn't do it then. Aside from the fact they're doing it shaloi kedin, like we said previously, i.e., they're doing it during Chazor Shatz. You've got to listen to Chazor Shatz. You shouldn't do anything else during Chazor Shatz. Even take off your Tefillin Shel Rashi and put on your Tefillin Shel Rabbeinu Tam. And then, so what should you do? You wait till the end of davening, and then you put on the Rabbeinu Tam, and you say Shema and V'hoyim Shemoya. Says the Mishnah Berurah in Sivkot and Tesvov, Avol ein tzorech pashas sitzes. You don't need to do the third paragraph of Shema. Ki chashosha d'shem ha'ed edu sheker kvatikim b'shtei parshas. The whole concern is, by saying Shema without tefillin is like giving edu sheker. You've already sorted that by saying the first two paragraphs. That's how we know the Prima Godim says you take off the Tefillin Shel Rashi, then you put on the Tefillin Shel Rabbeinu Tam. Someone who wears Tefillin all day should certainly wear the Rashi Tefillin and not the Rabbeinu Tam Tefillin. Okay, to be continued tomorrow in Mitzvah Hashem.